Hi everyone, this is Olga. Today we're testing a recipe for healthy marshmallow zephir made without sugar and without egg white. Anyone can make this zephir since it only requires simple ingredients you're sure to have in any kitchen. We're also going to make two versions and you can pick whichever you like better. You'll find the link to the source and all the ingredient proportions in the description under the video. We'll start with the sugar-free zephir. First, I'll need about 7 medium-sized apricots, roughly 330 to 350 grams by weight. I cut the apricots and remove the pits. Then transfer the halves into a saucepan. You should end up with about 300 grams of apricots. Next, I take an immersion blender and puree the apricots. It's easiest to do this in a tall, narrow container. I put the saucepan on the stove and heat the puree until it's hot, but I don't let it boil, stirring with a spatula so it doesn't burn. Then I take the saucepan off the heat and taste the puree. Depending on how sweet the apricots are, you can add a sugar substitute or skip it entirely. I add 30 grams of stevia sweetener. The package says it's twice as sweet as sugar. Next, I stir 15 grams of fast-dissolving gelatin into the hot puree. I use a supermarket brand, Dr. Oetker. I mix until the gelatin dissolves, then pour the puree into the bowl I'll use for whipping and let it cool briefly. You can use any mold you have for this dessert. I'm using a silicone mold about 23 by 10 centimeters. I grease the silicone mold lightly with oil, or you can line it with plastic wrap instead. Then I whip the puree with the gelatin using a mixer on high speed for about 15 to 20 minutes. In a stand mixer, it whips faster, about 10 minutes. Instead of apricots, you can also use ready-made applesauce, strawberries, raspberries, cherries, currants, or even pumpkin puree for this recipe. Friends, come join my Telegram channel. I share simple homemade recipes there. I'll be waiting for you. Gradually, the mixture lightens in color and increases in volume. In the end, it looks like a cream, light and airy, holding its shape on the spatula. I transfer it right away into the prepared mold, smooth it out, and cover it with plastic wrap pressed directly onto the surface. I put the healthy zephir in the refrigerator for 1.5 to 2 hours to set. Meanwhile, let's make the second batch, this time with sugar, so we can compare the results. I prepare the apricots the same way, then add 100 grams of sugar, 4 heaping tablespoons. If the apricots are sweet, 60 to 80 grams of sugar to taste is enough. I blend the mixture with an immersion blender until pureed. To make it perfectly smooth, I strain it through a sieve. For the first batch, I didn't strain it, and we'll compare the results at the end of the video. In my opinion, it's healthier to leave everything as is since a lot of the vitamins are in the skin. But if there are seeds, like with currants, it's better to strain the puree through a sieve. I add 15 grams of gelatin, 1 heaping tablespoon, to the hot puree. I pour the puree with gelatin into a bowl and let it cool briefly. I line a 16 by 16 centimeter glass mold with plastic wrap. I whip the sugar-based puree a bit less, about 10 to 15 minutes on high speed, until it becomes a fluffy, pale, cream-like mass. In a stand mixer, it whips even faster, in 8 to 10 minutes. I want to note that the puree with sugar whips faster and comes out more airy and white. This happens because of the sugar, which forms a crystalline structure in the dessert. I put the sugar zephir in the fridge for the same 1.5 to 2 hours until it sets. After the waiting time, I take the zephir out of the fridge. First, I remove the sugar-free zephir from the silicone mold. I want to point out that it turned out a rich orange color. Even though I didn't add any food coloring, that's its natural color. As you can see, it stuck a little to the ridges of the mold. I cut it into portioned pieces. The sugar-free zephir is springy, airy, fragrant, and very tasty. The sugar-based zephir is extra fluffy and springy, like a little cloud. It's easy to get out of the glass mold, and it doesn't stick to the plastic wrap. This dessert melts in your hands if you hold it too long. I cut it into pieces the same way, and you can really feel the air bubbles popping as I cut it. It doesn't stick to the knife either. I'm tasting the zephir together with my little son Artyom, who couldn't wait for it to set. Friends, this is delicious. The zephir has a rich apricot flavor. It's like eating an airy, melt-in-your-mouth concentrated apricot. With sugar, the zephir is sweeter. With the sweetener, it's a bit more tart. I liked both versions, and Artyom loved this zephir too. He's eating one piece after another. Overall, the recipe works. If you want to make this zephir, give it a try. As always, please support my video with a like and a subscription, and I'm waiting for your feedback in the comments. I wish you all peaceful skies. Until next time, my dear friends, bye.